Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video by me where we will be taking a look at a brand new map made by Garja, showcasing some of the specific maps over the next couple of days made specifically for the Summer Championships. Here we have Bengal. It's raining. It's pouring. I don't know. It's the small things. I absolutely love this map, but unfortunately we are going to have to resign, which turns off the rain. Let's take a look around and have full map vision. But that's right, Summer Championships sign-ups are now open. I would urge every single one of you to go over to eso-community.net and click here to sign up. There are 0 level requirements. You can be any rank you want, and I'm definitely going to be signing up for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have absolutely 0% faith that I'll get anywhere near something like the semi or quarterfinals, but it's going to be a blast. So I would encourage everyone to come and join and have some fun. But you'll also notice a map pool in this news post made by Maito. Yes, you will. And all of these maps were made by Garja. And this, I believe yesterday, culminates probably hundreds of hours of work that man has put into this map-making fest. Because, honestly, these are all fresh maps, all made by a player. It's going to be so good. We've got a unique map pool. All of them are very interesting. And yeah, there's some familiar names, Arkansas, Manchuria, some of that we've already seen. But I want to do a quick mini-series, sort of talking about all of these, doing an in-depth analysis. And we're going to kick this off with Bengal, and then I'll get the rest of the videos out very, very quickly. I don't want to drag this out. Lots of hype, lots of new maps, and there is certainly that. All of them absolutely excellent, and you will see. Bengal, it's raining. Okay, that's not why it's a great map, but it is good. Let's take a look around whilst I talk. As you can see, it's clearly set in the Indian rainforest. I guess you could say it's similar to Deccan. Well, I guess it is similar to Deccan in terms of like the aesthetic, but it's also similar to Bayou, is what I was gonna say. Indeed, having, that marshy sort of rainforest-esque feel to it. And you also have a plateau. It's a much bigger one than than Bayou, where you're going to actually have to build your base. That's necessary. But the most interesting thing about this map is that it's not just a reskinned version of Bayou, with obviously better hunt and better mine distribution, all of that. It actually has this very interesting wall. And that we will get on in just a moment. But I just want to show you, how geographically accurate this is. Does that not look absolutely like what, this is, I just Google image searched, Bengal, and here it is, clearly a rainforest, right? But enough of that, let's get into this. It's a small map with a fairly short rush distance, and you can't, because of this wall, it's gonna be, I don't know, I guess that adds some more defense to it. Certainly if you build, a forward base in the middle here, your opponent isn't going to be able to get through here at all. So any raids are going to have to come around sort of the back way and all the way around the sides. Because if you're in the middle of the map with a forward base, they certainly can't go there either. Definitely a very interesting map. Not something I would call a standard map, though there are plenty of those in the map pool that Garja has made. A standard map, I would say, is essentially one where you start with a trading post quite nearby that's, very accessible. One with perhaps muskrat treasures, guaranteed starting treasures for the easy hunting ducts at the market. A map that accommodates pretty much every playstyle. This one, however, you're going to have to be ready for more things with maps like this in the map pool. Because, of course, I don't know, I suppose civs like Germany, France, and any other civ that likes Fortress Age agendas and trading posts is not going to be so good. And those which enjoy being aggressive, Russia, among other civilizations, I suppose, not just Russia, there's plenty of other civilizations that are good at rushing, going to be really fun on this map. And maybe even British is good on this map, I don't know. This wall here, of course, adds, quite a lot of defense, and a lot of the time, it's not, it didn't spawn this time, but you can see here this hunt there's often hunts up the side here. As you can see, definitely one for this player. Perhaps that's more defendable. Perhaps. I don't expect British to be particularly good on this map, but it's an interesting map, and there's a lot to be discovered, I think. Is it balanced, though? That is the question. We'll get into the balance. I'm going to address that for all of the maps, and yes, invariably, all of Garja's maps are fairly well balanced. You start with 2 elephants in your base for both players, which is interesting. You don't often start with an animal like an elephant in your base. A lot of food in there, much more than a regular animal. Have to make sure you heard that properly, and certainly 2 berry bushes as well are your starting food. Now, you also start with a hunt very close by for both players, and obviously a second hunt fairly close by as well. And oftentimes you'll start with ones next to the wall, which is the case almost for this player, but certainly has, close hunts nearby on the plateau. If, of course, for any reason it doesn't spawn good hunts, we can always rehost, but these are fairly consistent spawning, and I think Garja did a really, really good job here on all of the different maps. Now, you also start with 3 coin mines on the plateau as well, all the time, so your resources, one at the bottom here, one in your base, and one at the top, and that's the case for that. And then the rest of the mines and hunts on the map, it doesn't really matter where they go, and I say that quite a lot in these videos. I made a few of them, but this is the first one I'm going to release, I think. A nice quick one to get everyone into these maps and let you guys know what's going on. Probably release most of them tomorrow, and then a couple more, because I'm not going to be able to make them all in one day. But yeah, I want to get time these videos release with the map pool release, so you can go and download these maps and start practicing on them for the tournament, or just plan on them generally if you're that way inclined. But the rest of the hunts, they really do not matter where they're going to be spawning. Most of the time, they could really spawn anywhere, and the game would pan out exactly the same way, because of course players have basic starting resources, and then after that they play towards the map, and the fighting sort of happens around the various areas where they're sort of gathering as they're used up, etc., etc. Really, they could spawn anywhere, the players. I mean, in the ideal world, yeah, it would be mirrored like in StarCraft, but Age of Empires always has had a degree of randomness. And speaking of randomness, we do have the treasures. That's the next thing we ought to discuss. They're rather lackluster. 100 food sounds good, but it's guarded by 2 lions, which are very hard to kill due to their massively high hit points. There is the 90 wood treasure. It's pretty good, but it doesn't always spawn. And basically each player gets 1 reasonable treasure sort of near them. I've noticed it, like, for example, 90 wood is sort of on the left-hand side here, and we can expect... Oh, no, he spawned with the rhino. Oh, this is, in theory, the same goodness as the wood treasure, but definitely in practice is not. So that can happen. But that could be, truly anything. And the rest of the treasures really are just, 30 foods, not particularly amazing. 20 coin. As I meant, just these rather lackluster treasures. 80 coin there as well. 30 food, that kind of thing. 50 coin. On some of the other maps, Hudson Bay, Arkansas, treasures are really, really quite good all the time. This one, though, I like it. They're not always so good. Nice variety of maps there. And I'm looking forward to some games on this. The last thing to talk about is this native trading post, the Bhakti Temple. Certainly on some of the other maps, the native trading posts will see play. I am absolutely certain of it, and we will get on that in future videos. But this one, I don't think it really will, but I will go through it anyway. What do they get? Well, here we have tiger claws, which are not terrible. They're not good either. They just cost a lot of wood, and that is inherently the problem with native units. A lot of the time, they just cost too much wood, and wood is obviously the slowest gathering resource, and is also the most expensive resource to upgrade. So because they cost wood, they're just inherently bad. But the stats aren't bad if you look at them for a native unit. It's like a coyote runner in the sense that it's a cavalry-style unit, but it's, infantry. Yeah, coyote runners, of course, Aztecs didn't have cavalry. But, yeah, 15 melee damage with a reasonable siege unit on a unit like this. 150 hit points, and there's an upgrade in there that increases their hit points. Here it says, oh, whoops. Yeah, 200 food, 200 wood, increases Tiger Claw attack. And I believe it's not actually attack. I believe that's wrong. It's actually hit points. And it's by 50%. Actually not bad, if you think about it. Also, we have increases cavalry attack and hit points. That is by 5%. Not very much for its cost, but in the late game, certainly, if the game is very well balanced and does play out, could see, a reasonable roll. That's not a terrible upgrade, super late game, and could see play. And finally, vegetarianism, which on a map like Deccan is actually pretty good. 100 wood, 100 food, and increases villager gather rates from berries by 40%. Unfortunately, though, on this map, you only start with 2 berry bushes. Just one here and one there. I think more berry bushes on this map would be cool, because it does actually bring up the berry gather rate in line with unupgraded hunts, which isn't terrible, and could be interesting. I would love to see a map with something like with lots of berries on it, with a Bhakti temple, or maybe, not necessarily, maybe, obviously Bhakti wouldn't be appropriate for a Native American map, maybe like Cherokee, where you get basket weaving, which just removes the wood cost from all of your market upgrades and plantation upgrades and mill upgrade. Maybe a map like that, where you don't have a trading route like on this map, but you start with a Native American travois that can transform into a village. Maybe the Cherokee or some other native village with sea play. I think that'd be super cool. And I'm going to leave you on that note. A nice quick 10-minute video. Here's Bengal. I think it's going to be super fun. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name's been Interjection, showcasing Garja's map. Show him some love. I'll see you next time.